attention because our special, very special guest speaker has joined us. And Angie, I'm going to ask you to do the introductions. So if I can put everybody on mute here, I am going to do that. Give me a second. And then I'm going to unmute our guests. And so we're going to have breaks in between for your questions. So hold on to those. Thom will invite you to offer up your questions in between his presentation. Okay, everybody? All right, so I'm going to put you all on mute for now.
Debbie, can you pin
Yep.
Thom so he's the main person on the screen?
Yes, I should be able to do that. So
Okay,
yeah, I
thank
want to
Okay.
see him on the screen
right.
too, because I can't see him with.
Welcome Thom Knowlton as our guest presenter today. Thom has a military background and served our country as a corporal in the United States Marine Corps and the captain in the U.S. Army. He has served 55-year career in the martial arts of judo and karate and currently serves as a martial arts coach in referee. Thom was the regional vice president of a major insurance company. He now devotes his time to teaching other public speaking, presentation skills, networking, and how to make a great first impression. He teaches at the 3-step system: look your best, speak your best, and lead the rest. Here you go, Thom. Thom,
is he?
you're on mute.
Is he? Thom, you can unmute yourself, I think. I made you a co-host.
I did. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi.
Can you all see him?
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah,
Can-
I see.
Can you see?
No, Myth.
Can you see the first slide?
No.
No,
Okay, then
No. Okay,
Now.
great.
now we can see it.
is it full screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here we go. First of all, I want to thank everybody for letting me do this. And this is my second time back. I don't know if some of you were around in 2017 when we did it the first time, but we had a heck of a lot of fun that time. And I plan on doing that tonight. And I'm going to teach you some stuff about being strong and being independent and not being afraid of speaking in front of people, because that's what Special Olympics wants you to do. They want you to tell your own story because it's so important to get your message out about you and the Special Olympics. This is going to go two ways. One, I'm going to start showing you things like, for instance, this first slide that's up, because even when you do presentations, if you do slide presentations, there's a way to get people to get more involved. So I'm going to start with this first one. Anytime you do a presentation and you're using slides or anything like this, you should have what we call a leader slide up on the screen while people are walking into the room. Normally, it will have some reference to what you're talking about, so it gets them psychologically in the mood. So that's what this page right here is about. Being a good speaker, presenter is about having a good character and passing it on to others. So that would be the first slide that you would have. Once we started, we would go to the actual first slide, which is first impressions. And the thing I'm going to tell you here is, if you have words up on a slide, do not say them word for word. It upsets people. You and I can read 7 times faster than we can talk. So what I do is I bring the first slide up. You've already read it. It says lecture 1. That's what we're going to do tonight. Part 2 will be next week. The next thing is, you can talk a little bit about yourself, but don't be braggadocious. What I'm doing here is, it just says that businesses hire me to help them get better at what they do. And you will get some first impression ideas you haven't seen before, because I'm in the professional field and things change every couple of years. Now, I have a timer here, and the thing with these type of presentations is You got to turn off anything else that might be on your phone, anything like that. The other thing is, I hope you guys are in a secluded room. I don't know if you've seen the commercials on TV, but we don't want to be looking up your nose. We don't want to be having a kid run behind you or a dog or the siren. So if you have that opportunity to be in a secure room just with you and us, that's the way it should be. And this is a slide that you should always have when you're doing webinars. It starts to, for a better use of words, it starts to control the people that are listening to your message. The next thing the next one I do, I don't mind, and you can do this, is if you guys know how to take screenshots on your computers, go ahead and copy the slides if you like them. I have both the Mac and the Windows keys strokes up there. If you
What? Okay,
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 okay.
bye.
Are you done? Okay, we're gonna go on to the, so I don't care if you take them and use them if you like them. So that norm you would normally give to your audience if you don't mind if they see what you've done and you like your work. Now we get to the actual front lead slide. We're going to go over three tips for great impressions. And there's 5 areas you need to understand. But part of my business presentation is about the 3 things, no matter what you do in life, these 3 things matter. I don't care if it's getting a job, getting a date, getting a job, blah, 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 blah. Learning to listen to people, which is more important than speaking. You have to, in any situation in life, you have to look your best, speak your best, and lead the rest. You have to have belief in yourself that you're a good person and that your character will be portrayed with these 3 items. So we're going to break those down separately here as we go through. Look your best. Dress for success, power and colors. These things are important. These are nonverbal communication techniques that people see the second they see you. If you're coming up on stage, you're going for a job interview, you're trying to get a date or a loan from a bank. Very important. And colors really mean a lot subconsciously. So we're going to go through a couple of them for you. If you're up there giving a speech and they assume that you're a professional because you're up there, the most powerful colors, 3 combination, is black, purple, and white. And as the slide says, that black shows power, the purple shows royalty, and the white shows neutral. That's man or woman, doesn't matter. That's the top power colors. Other colors you'll see, this is for first impressions and job interviews and things like that, when you're trying to make an impression. The next one you've all seen, it's black, red, and white. And for the red, the man is the tie, the ladies is also a shawl or a light jacket. And the third one you see is blue and red. When you see a red tie, it automatically tells you it's probably not going to be good information. It's a subtle little notice that you don't pick up on. But if you see a purple tie, it shows that that person's usually in charge and you need to listen to him or her. Okay. As she talked to you about Deb before, there's going to be questions, and this is the time we're going to have questions. Now, I've got a timer sitting here, and we have 3 sessions where we can have questions. So we're going to start now. If you have a question, I don't know how we're going to get it up on the board, but I can verbally answer it for you. So, Angie, if you want to control the questions, if somebody comes in and writes in the chat, you can open up their microphone if they want. And the timer won't start until somebody ends with the first question I start answering.
Alex, it does.
Okay, let her
Alex,
open them.
go ahead.
Okay, my question is, when it comes to speaking, how are you able to control like a story or sitting without trying to like giggle too much? Because sometimes I get a little distracted with things.
That's good. Great question. Because we're going to go over that today and next time. You're going to know how to do this by the end of next week.
Yeah, because I have a hint where I feel like I read something and I feel like I'm gonna end up laughing sometimes.
But that's okay. Because I'm going to show you how you're going to, later on in this presentation, how you're going to identify with your audience, and they're watching you. They're waiting for cues from you. Even if you think it's funny or
Hmm?
you lose your place, nobody wants you to fail. They're up hoping that you're going to give them a message. And you know, if it's the first or second time, people are on your side. But we're going to be even better because I'm going to show you how to be strong when you walk up front. You're going to have to see a video in a little bit about how to look professional without saying a word. It's important first. See, in 7 seconds, people make a decision whether they like you, trust you, or do business with you.
Because at one time I did a presentation when I got my 40 under 40 award, and I had to read a speech, and Debbie was there at the time to support me, and I read my speech, and everybody gave me a standing ovation at one time.
There you go. A little bit of confidence there. A little bit of confidence there.
As a self-advocate coordinator, I'm part of the DDS, Natasha Cole from Connecticut. Being a leader, you have to stand up to the podium and you have to lead, and you have to, like, you will have your notes with you. So if you want to present, always look your best and then also speak from your heart.
You have that exactly right. That's what's you're gonna see on a video, how you start the presentation, how you walk up, what you say, what you don't say. And I just tell you ahead of time while we're talking about this, the reason I teach some of this stuff is I was a driver for a general for a year. Now, when you say general, go up there and have a speech. It looks very refined, so it looks very dignified, but I'm going to tell you right now, as his driver, we practiced it every day, just like an actor would. So we're going to go through that a little bit later on, and you're exactly right about stuff like that. How you are first perceived is super important. They can turn away from you right away. The next, they've made a decision whether or not they're going to listen, or if the job interview is already over. I'm telling you, it's that serious. It's done that fast. That's why the nonverbals are almost more important than what you say. Hopefully that answered your question.
Thomas, I also want to know, years ago, I signed up for a job interview at one of my newer jobs that I tried. The boss interviewed me and I didn't know what to expect to say. But once I got it, he hired me in an instant.
You got some kind of charm. You know what you're doing.
Right.
A minute. For
Yeah,
me,
on job
Also,
interview.
never mind.
Go ahead.
Also,
For
I
me-
remember that I actually went up to the podium for the to do the athlete oath for the snowshoeing tournament, and I was up there, but how will you know not to wuss when speaking when you know that this is your time? But how do you know when not to wuss when speaking when you're up in the podium?
Oh, that's we're gonna get to that in a second. You're gonna have homework after that. I don't want to tell you it right now, but you're gonna have homework
Oh.
this week and next week. And I'm gonna send you like the survey we had. It's gonna, you'll see. You'll answer, that question will be answered by the end of tonight before we get done.
Okay.
Okay, I got 2.5 minutes. Who's next?
Me.
Now, I want you guys to notice something. Did you notice I just went to black screen?
Yes, I noticed.
There's a reason for that. If you're doing a presentation with a slide presentation like this, and you're gonna have a discussion like we're having, you go to black screen. The reason you go to black screen is it automatically makes the audience look back at you. Remember, you have the message and you're the messenger. So that's why it's black screen right now. Because if we were in a big room, you'd be looking at me, not the monitor. I just wanted to bring that up. Okay, 2 minutes left. Another question?
I have one.
Go for it.
I got hired in 2018 at Stop and Shop.
Yep.
And I dressed up very nice, like in a suit kind of. And it's like they saw what I can do and everything, so they had no position. So they created a job for me as a bagger.
Well, see, that's what I'm going to talk about. That's why I talk about the clothes are very important. You were exactly right on doing that. You stepped up and went one above everybody else, and that impressed them. Proud of you, buddy.
Yeah.
That's exactly the thing to do. That was
Excuse
good
me,
work.
Tom, can I say something?
Sure, go right ahead.
So my name is Megan. I live in Shelton, and I talk about Special Olympics means to me because I don't talk about personal stuff because that's really personal. So can I still talk about Special Olympics means to me instead?
Sure.
Because I don't talk about personal stuff like jobs or anything else. That's not me. I'm here to talk about Special Olympics means to me.
Okay.
But I
If
also
that's okay
think
with
that,
you.
but I also think that there's a time and a place to talk about personal things.
Right.
Like
So
I've done many speeches, well, for Special Olympics and for my company. And literally like the entire first paragraph is about myself. Because number one, it's a confidence booster because there's nothing I know better than myself. So I mean, I think that there's a time and a place for it. But normally when I speak, the first entire paragraph is about me because it builds my confidence for the first 2.5 to 4 minutes of my speech.
That's a great technique to use. Okay, time is up. We're going on to the next one. If you have more questions, write them now. We'll go through this part two.
Sorry, I was running a little late though. I just got back from the store and everything else. So, real quick though, and everything else. So, I know we're talking about Special Olympics and everything else. So, and I know I did a survey. Like I think it was like yesterday. I think I did a survey. It was a survey about talking about ourselves and everything else. So, I'll tell you exactly what I look for myself in the future. I look for it as a person who wants to own his own business by showing people that we can own our own business and be our own boss and have our own money and everything else. So where we can mostly take care of ourselves. So when our parents are deceased, at least we know that we have money to make sure like we have everything else about what we need and everything else with our own care, our own services, are things that we need to have, and going to the right sources to make sure like we have everything else what we need, so we can use that brain for that knowledge, so we can bring it to the people and show them exactly what they can do. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who mostly own their own businesses and everything else. So I mean, yes, we did meet a girl who makes cookies. She's from Boston though, and she owns her own business. And she's killing it, and she's doing really good though and everything else. And let me tell you, and she's also disability because it was hard for her to go through. It was hard for her to go through a lot of changes with herself, because when she put in for applications for real jobs, she couldn't get a real job because they looked at her as a person with Down syndrome.
Right.
And that was really sad though, because that right there, that really hurt me.
I want to talk to you later about this because Angie and I can help you out on something. I like what you just said. It was almost a perfect speech, but I think you need to come to Toastmasters with us, but I'll talk about that after. It's training you how to talk. So
okay, cool. All right, cool.
Yep, no problem. No problem. I'll sit down with any of you guys later on. If you want to get going better, I'm going to tell Angie's story at the end before we leave. Okay, part 2, speak your best. You've got to know how much to say, when to say it, and you don't drag out the audience with fluff you don't need to talk about. Everything has to be concise and to the point. So let me give you an example. I don't know if you guys know who Mark Twain is or was. He's a famous writer, speaker. And this is in the middle of the 1850s. And the people that were in charge of advertising and marketing said, they gave him a challenge. They said, listen, you could talk for hours and hours. You can tell jokes and everything, but we don't think you could sell anything or put an ad in a newspaper that isn't 14 pages long. And he said, well, what do you want me to do? He goes, they said, we want you, because you project a lot of words that aren't necessary, we'll give you 2 paragraphs to come up with an item for sale that has everything they need to know with the least amount of words. Do you think you can do it? He took a piece of paper and pencil, took about 30 seconds. He goes, I've got it. They go, there's no way you have it. And he goes, oh yeah, we do. This is the second one in the middle here, short, precise answers. Here's what he wrote, and this is all the information you need to make a decision. Here we go. Children's shoes, never worn, $10. What I'm trying to convey to you is get your information and your message out there in as least amount of words as possible. On any of these slides, except for a couple of full sentences, you're going to see the whole concept in less than 7 words. So be precise. We can work with you on that. It's pretty easy to do. Voice control. Don't talk too loud. Don't whisper. With practice, both audio and video, you'll get the right sound of how you should speak when you drop your voice to make a point, or you get excited to tell a story. So we help you with that, and we work through it with you all the time. This is what made Angie at a Toastmaster meeting one day.
Wait, are we on the What's the Why?
Short, precise answers? Yes.
Okay.
Yep. There are ways to say your name, and there's one right way to say it. Some people walk up to you and say, hi, I'm Thom Knowlton. Hey, I'm Thom Knowlton. But the correct way to do it, to show that you have dignity and respect, is you say, I am, before your name. I am Thom Knowlton. So Angie, I'm going to tell you the story, okay? So I worked with Angie about 5 times down at your place in Hamden. It was very tough in the beginning. She didn't have the confidence. So we worked about 4 or 5 times, and she was going to give her first speech at this Toastmasters where you just talk about yourself. And the dramatic difference after 5 sessions, in the beginning, she was literally shaking, standing up in front of talking to people behind that podium you were talking about, and didn't look up and say a word. 5 hours later, at that meeting that night, I had this all planned out with somebody else in the meeting because there was about 20 people standing there, including her family. She walks up and she goes, I am Angie. And she took the soccer ball that she won a medal with and threw it at the person in the front row. And if you think about that, that's very funny, but it automatically controlled and brought their attention right to her. And she went through the speech. The speeches are only about 7 minutes long, and it's changed her life. And that's why you be precise on who you are. Thank you for sharing your time. Now that statement right there is empathy for the other person you're talking with, but it's also controlled words. You're doing that on purpose. Believe it or not, be direct and friendly. A little bit about the handshake. This is more in the job interview skills, but proper pressure. Let the person grab your hand first when you shake hands. Whatever pressure they're putting on, that's what you put on. Do not try to crush their hand. Don't be to have a wet fish hand, and do it about 3 seconds, up and down 3 seconds, and let go. That is the proper professional way to do it. The other thing is eye contact. You're looking, you're listening, you're not talking. You're understanding what they're going to talk about, what they're going to offer you, or what they want you to do. So that's very important. So this was a short session, but let's talk about the things we went over on this one. Let her go.
We had discussed shaking hands with your boss. When I began working for DDS as a self-advocate coordinator from the Waterbury, I was professional and I was all dressed and how to approach them, always shake their hands in a friendly manner. Yes.
Right. Now, I'm glad you brought that up. When you walk into somebody or you meet them, pause for a second, because I've seen people throw their hand up to shake hands and people from different countries don't shake hands. Be the second one to raise your hand when you shake hands with people. That way, nothing will happen. Nobody will be embarrassed or anything like that.
How can you shake hands with people with COVID still going around? I mean, I find it hard to touch people when it comes to COVID.
Yeah. In normal situations, which isn't normal anymore. Unfortunately, they still do that in job interviews normally. But you could do the fist bump, which is acceptable now. You can do the shoulder.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'll call it. I'll have that answer for you for next week because I work with an executive recruiter
Okay.
every day. And
Yeah.
when I send out that survey again later, other questions down to the bottom, you make sure you write that in so I remember it.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah,
back then-
because I have a theory of touching things and then put hand sanitizer on
Right.
afterwards.
Now, you can politely say, I'm sorry, I don't shake hands. I understand that too. If it's something you're worried about, you can, and that they won't look down at you for that.
Right.
I personally don't like hugging, so.
Yeah.
Brittany, you have your. Aaron,
that-
hold on 1 second. I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brittany's
I'm
got her
sorry.
hand up. Go ahead, Britt.
How can you hug? How can you do a presentation during COVID?
Got it.
How do I do it during COVID?
Yeah.
Like this. This is one of the ways you can do it. This is a webinars, and it's a lot different. I mean, you don't have the interaction, you're not watching people. I mean, we got the cameras, but it's totally different. But like I said, you've got to be looking right at that camera, not the slide, not down at your things, because everybody can see everything you're doing. That's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up because it brought me something to me. If you do a presentation like this, you notice we're taking breaks every once in a while. But after about 30 minutes in any presentation, have them stand up, take a break, walk around, get some water. Just went to a meeting on Saturday morning. The person's talked for 3 hours without a break.
Wow.
Wow.
Too much.
That's crazy.
We're going to get into the audience in a minute, which is the second most important thing here. How you introduce yourself is the most important, but the second one is understanding your audience or people you're talking to. Because you can have everything else, but if you don't have an audience, there's no reasons for a message. Any other questions?
Dan? Go ahead, Dan.
I got a question. You could talk to people and you could meet and greet. And
Yes.
then as I do. So you could talk to them and meet and greet.
Oh, yeah. That's another whole seminar, meet and greet, how to do things right. Oh, yeah.
Yes, eye contact.
Yep.
And they
And
will
by the way,
listen
I'm not going to
you.
get into it too much, and you and I can talk later because that's another seminar I'm doing next month at Chamber of Commerce. But you don't give out business cards anymore. It's not there for. You're there for the relationship with potentially your clients or friends.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody wants to throw, somebody throws me a business card, I just throw it away. Hey, talk to me about you. Okay?
Tom, when you mentioned Chamber of Commerce, I think I happen to know a friend in Shelton that works there.
Oh, that's cool. I'm in the chamber in Meriden, but I teach at any of these chambers that want this.
Okay.
You got a connection? Hey, that's good.
You know what?
Albert, did you have a question, Albert?
What if someone asks for a business card? Can you still give them a business card?
Sure. Now, there's a whole trick to a business card too, because people will hand a business card to you, and you need to look at it because it's a symbol on there or a company logo or something. What you're trying to do here is not sell anybody anything. You're trying to build a relationship with all this meet and greet and networking. You're there to find the right person to talk to. And some of the people, it's see you later. You don't fit what I'm trying to do. That's the you have to go after. And I teach in my meet and greet course who to talk to at a network. You don't talk to everybody. You find a certain people that are in charge of run things that might have a business situation close to yours. So going around handing out 50 cards is really a waste of time. There's a whole strategy on who to go to and who not to, right from the and who's important and who can help you influence your position. Yeah, that's a real cool seminar to do on that one.
There was a thing I was trying to, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut anybody.
That's all right. You got 56 seconds.
Okay, cool. No problem. Okay. I was trying to figure out exactly I know when people usually do parades though, and I know there's the thing of the who, the how, and who you have to talk to and everything else. So, and I know sometimes it goes from, sometimes it usually goes from the top and then you have to mostly work your way from the top to the middle, and then you try to go to the bottom, but then you don't want to go in the bottom. You want to stay right in the middle and mostly talk to the person and meet and greet and tell them exactly who you are as an athlete and a Special Olympics Global Messenger. Because I know sometimes if you say to them okay, I want to try to get into the St. Patrick's Parade to mostly represent Norwich for Special Olympics, because I know a lot of people don't know about us, about our athletes, about what we do and what we're achieving on.
Well,
And I want people to understand exactly who we are and everything else.
You and I need to sit down and talk, because there's sympathetic questions you ask them that'll draw information out for you. You go, I want to go in a parade. Nobody's going to listen to that. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, who do you know? Who would I go to? Who's the person that they go, oh, it's Joe Smith. Okay. Now you started the conversation. Again, you don't want to be in the parade yet. You still want to get information, and you want to be passed on to the person that's the actual decision.
Right. Because it has to go through the town hall first. They're the ones who mostly talk to the whole people. And write that down when we do the survey, so I can talk to you one-on-one on that situation. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Yes.
Do you have another 5 seconds?
Yeah, go.
So just not to renege on what you said about the whole handshake thing, but I also think that is a territory thing, because my parents are from the South, and if you don't shake the person's hand, the attitude in the South is you might as well not show up for that interview. That shaking somebody's hand at the very beginning is the single most important thing to do. Even if you're not comfortable with it puts a huge impression, because if you don't shake somebody's hand, it signifies that you're very standoffish.
It could. Except I'm going to show you about when you talk to the audience. I'm going to answer that question in another way. And I'm talking about the 18 genders. I'm talking about something else. And we'll get to that, which will answer your question both yes and no at the same time.
Right.
Okay,
Yes, sir. I was more or less talking in a job interview situation,
right.
not
Still the same.
necessarily in a
Still the
speaking
same.
body situation. Yes, sir.
What I'm going to show you is going to explain a little bit to you. So now we go on to the third part, which is lead the rest. Okay. I usually charge for this, but I won't if somebody can tell me what those 5 initials really mean. What does WIIFM? If you get it right, I'll spend a half an hour of time with you at no charge. You got 5 seconds, you can't look it up on the internet. It has to do with the audience. Okay. Time's up.
Women, infants. I was thinking female, male.
Okay. Now you have a message, but the message, you have to understand the message is not about you. You're giving the message to the audience, the interviewer, whatever. WIIFM means what's in it for me, meaning them. You have to get out of your own head when you're giving somebody a message. I don't care if it's your background. You have to look at it from their perspective, the audience. So let's talk about that. It's going to answer what you were just talking about. One of you ladies, people were just talking about. Okay. We're going to talk about 3 or 4 things here. The most important thing in any communications, your audience is the person you're talking to. But there's things you've got to know about when you're talking to people at different ages, even with job interviews, even with shaking hands, because this second one is going to throw you for a loop. Okay. Your audience, if you don't connect with them, if you're having a bad interview, they're either going to get on the phone, fall asleep, or walk out, or stop the interview. It's very important. You can't be monotone. You've got to be watching the person that you're interviewing. You can say they're interviewing you, but you got to be interviewing them too, and watch their body language, their reaction, their facial, all of that. Here's your answer to what you were talking about before. This is the first time in history, 4 generations are working together. It's never happened before. The generation before me, 1945, was the last generation that did what they were told and never asked a question. We came along as baby boomers after World War II, and that question that we asked is still asked today, and the question is why? Not how, when, what, why? Then you got the Gen Xers and the millenniums. Now, as far as the handshake is concerned, be cautious with the millenniums because they are looking at things a lot different than we've looked at in the past. Some things they like, some, you can't say ma'am anymore. You can't say she, them, him. Be careful. One of my friends about my age got in trouble because he said there's only 2 genders. Well, you got to watch what you say. You got to be up with the current information. And the traditionalists, they just want the answers. Why I'm telling you this is you don't know who's sitting in your audience unless you pre-screen them before, or you don't, which will answer a question about the job interview skills. Let me digress here for a second. The people doing the interviewers now are the millennials. They're a little bit different than the baby boomers and the traditionals in a job interview. But this is guaranteed for no matter who you're talking to. And when you go to a job interview, if you're sitting in an outside waiting room, take a look around at the company or the industry literature. The other thing you should have done before that was find out about the company, how long it's been around, where is it standing, how long is it going to be around in 10 years? Does it look like there's a place for you? Once you're in the room, you can ask the gatekeeper, or the normally called a secretary, what type of person is interviewing me? Are they laid back? Are they matter of fact? You're doing an interview before they even get to you because you got to know how to react to them. This sounds dumb, but if you go into their room and you have to open a door between the waiting room and the office, I want you to look at the hinges on the door. Why the hell would you ask me to do that? Because I saw a guy pull a door when he was supposed to push a door and it hit him in the head before he even started the interview. It looked very bad. That 5 seconds, 8-second things, as soon as you walk into that room, they start judging all of us. It's human nature. It's sad, but it's true. That's why I tell you to wear the proper clothes, walk straight up, throw out the handshake only after that person does. Don't sit down. This is all in the second seminar we're going to do, but I'm answering some of the questions that you guys had about what you asked tonight. This is important. You have to know about the different generations. There's a couple of books on how to deal with people on that. Okay. The guy that wants to go to the parade, people, I want to deal this one, just you and I, everybody else can listen, but this is going to be a learning curve for you. What is your name again? Hello?
Mine?
Yes. What's your name?
Aaron. It's Aaron.
Okay. This has to do with business cards and everything else and how you introduce yourself.
Okay.
99% of the people get these two things wrong, and that's why they call me. And I want you to be you, because this is a test. Who are you? Just give me a name.
I'm Aaron Newton, and I'm a global messenger athlete. And okay, that I messed up on. The first thing I would mostly be saying is, hi, I'm Aaron Newton, and I am an athlete and a global messenger.
What do you do?
I do sports. I do track and field. I do softball, and I do volleyball.
Okay, let me ask you the answer to those two questions. You answered both of those questions. I'm the
Okay.
person on the other side,
Okay.
and I'm not being mean. I'm being realistic here.
Okay.
What did that do for me? You said
That,
all things about you.
okay.
People do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first part of the question, who are you? You got it exactly right by saying, I am. What you do in this situation is you say, I am Thom Knowlton, and stop. And they go, what? Well, what do I do next? I guess I ask him, what did he do? Then they
Okay.
ask you, what do you do? Now, I just want to give you an example on this. A month ago, I had a adult education course with a principal of a school. I said, what do you do? She goes, I'm a teacher. I go, what do you do? She goes, why do you keep asking me that? I said, you're not answering the question the right way that would interest me on what you do. She goes, well, what do I do? And this is what I'm going to say to you. Start off, after you say your name and stop, whatever you do, I want you to say, I show, I teach, I learn. Start again. Who are you?
I'm Aaron Newton, and I'm a global messenger and an athlete.
What do you do?
I play sports. I play volleyball, track and field, and softball.
Okay, here's the third possible question for you. What interests you? You told me what you did, but you still haven't told me why you do it.
Why? Okay. Okay. They would have to ask me that question. Why do I do it? Because I would mostly say to them like this. I do Special Olympics as I've been doing it since I was like in high school. And the best part about it is working with people with people.
That's the answer. That's the answer.
Wow.
I help other people to do it because it makes me feel good. I've been doing this since I was high school. And then the guy's going to go. Now, the third question will come. Tell me more. That's when you throw up on him, but you don't do it right in the beginning. And this is the other person was talking about networking and meet and greets. You got to be very brief here because all you're trying to do is sort people out. If they don't get the third question, move on. They don't have what you want, or they're not interested in what you do. I used to be in the insurance business, and there's a little thing that says SW, SW, SW. It means some will, some won't, so what next?
Okay.
So you can use that, but you got to be very brief Now, this is the homework for everybody. Those 2 questions are going to be in the next survey. What do you do? By I help, I show, I learn, I develop. Pick specific words like I develop and I show people how to do things. This is that's what gets to their mind right away. Oh, I want to talk to this guy a little bit more. I wonder what else he does. Maybe we could sit down and talk. That's the point you're trying to get to. They don't care about your what you do until you interest them and show them what's in it for them. I do this, and I like all the students and everything like that. You know, I'm looking for somebody that can connect me with the people at the town hall. Would you or anyone you know? Listen to that. It's taking the person off guard. You're not going, hey, do you know anybody? No, you don't say something like that. You say it really soft. Would you or anybody you know who I could connect with? Oh yeah, my friend Bill, I'll have him give you a call. It sounds like I'm playing with words, but I'm not. It's breaking down barriers because people are hands across their chest going, what do you want from me? Even if they don't physically do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I want to sit down with you and go through some of this stuff with you. It'll help you out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, I do understand what you're saying. So my name is Natasha Cole. I advocate as a leader, like, for example, supporting each other, good sport, show up on time, be prompt, talented, you are brilliant, you have confidence, speak up and speak out.
Okay. When you're doing that, I would make that 5 different things.
Okay.
The first part she said, I like that's a quote. That's a quote, not
Okay.
Then she goes on to do, and you go, I do bing, bong, boom, boom, and boom. Then stop
Okay.
and see if there's a reaction.
Okay.
Sometimes I get like a little hyper when I tell stories sometimes. Is there a way to control? Because sometimes I say, guess what, or you know what, and all that. Is there a way to control that?
Yeah. Are you smiling when you do that?
Well, I do get a little hyper sometimes when I tell stories because people in my job life love to see what I do and what I'm up to.
Energy transforms, goes from one person to another. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, don't start hyperventilating, but you say, look, I'm just so excited. I talk fast. I just want to get the information out to you. If you know what, I'll slow down. I just want to make sure that you understand what I do. So you could start out really crazy fast and then slow yourself down.
Right.
I'm sorry, real quick though, before we move on to the next page. I usually do a thing on Facebook. What I usually do is like say I send information to like people as an athlete. Like say there was one I just did with Bull Durham, and what it does, it only gives you less than 30 seconds to tell the story of who he is and what he is and everything else. So, or we usually just say like, okay, hi, my name is Aaron Newton, and I'm a Special Olympics athlete. I just want to say to Lou Doherty, we appreciate everything else what you've done. Thank you, and all that stuff. And you say, take care and God bless. Sometimes it only gives you less than 30 seconds. It's the same thing when you're doing an interview.
We can get that down to about 15 words.
Okay.
The first thing before I answer your question, I just stay with his question for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
The most important thing you're trying to convey to them is, I work with the Special Olympics. Pause and let that sink in. Oh, Olympics. Literally everybody loves Special Olympics.
I do.
Don't try to send your message out too fast. It seems like, it's your pride. You're not being cocky, but you're being sure. What do you do? Special Olympics. It's almost like saying, I work for them. What do you do? You're not saying that, but you are in a nice way. I work for Special Olympics. And I'll show you in the middle of a sentence how to pause for words for effect. They're really well.
I used to be shy, Tom, but then after a while, I got used to speaking in front of large people.
Yep, same here. I was.
Me too.
It takes me a while to speak, but I'm trying to work on my speaking slowly and clearly. But what if you have like different credentials? How would you know when to say those?
Okay,
Do I
did you
say
see?
either the first part or the second part?
Okay, good, good. You noticed, I'm gonna answer it two ways, and you need to know both answers.
Okay.
Tonight, Angie introduced me. I told her word for word what to say and do not vary from it. Because sometimes we'll go, well, I like this guy, and then he starts telling a joke about you or something. And all he's supposed to do is introduce you. And you go, no,
Mhm.
I want you to just say this and nothing else. To answer your question, ma'am, on your credentials. When you go up front and you come up to the mic or the microphone, or they call you up to talk, understand what people assume right away. They assume you know what you're doing. They assume you're an expert. You don't have to tell them. If you saw what I did tonight on the second slide, I gave a little bit about myself, but I didn't tell you my whole history, and I'm not going to. But through this presentation, I'm giving you examples of what I'm doing, and you're saying to yourself, at least some of you, hopefully, hey, I think this guy knows what he's talking about. So you don't have to be forefront with it. In fact, that's braggadocious, and nobody cares about your background. I've gone to presentations where they talk for 20 minutes about the guy's background, and we're already ready to leave. I don't care about that. I'm there and you're there to give a message or receive a message. Remember, it's always about them. Okay, gotta move on.
Okay, go ahead.
Excuse me, Tom, I have to go, so I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Hi, Megan.
So
Bye, Megan.
thank you for all your help, Tom. Thank you.
Hey, if you want me to sit down with you, just tell me.
Okay,
Okay.
bye, guys.
Hopefully.
Bye.
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 Okay, hopefully this video will go through. I've got it on here. By the way, Angie and Deb are both been on I have a TV show once a week and a local access channel.
I don't have the video.
Uh,
Deb, do
I
you
haven't-
have it?
I haven't started it yet.
Well, I don't have the video.
Can you see it now?
No. Here,
No.
hold on. Do it now.
Now
Share your screen.
What?
Share your screen.
Got it.
Wow, that's better.
Oh, you just had it about 5 minutes ago. It's already gone.
Yeah, now it's disappeared.
So should I try to play this?
Yeah, sure.
No,
Yes,
no one
please.
sees it.
Can you see this, Tom? Can you,
No.
anybody see?
We saw about 5 minutes ago.
Tom, do you
and
want me to
it's-
try to share my screen?
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, oh, that's better.
So let
There
me
you go.
see
You
if
got
I
it.
can get
Yeah,
Hold on,
much
guys.
better, Tom.
okay, go flip down. You're gonna see a video, right?
Oh, almost lost.
Getting there. It's 5
There.
o'clock. Oh, I don't know if we can do that, huh? Oh, yes.
Just
we
press
can.
it. It should work.
Oh. No, I'm not getting the on screen. Hold
All
on,
right.
you know what? I could go to the link. Let me stop sharing this. Why don't you keep going and I'll try to do it because it's 5 o'clock. So I know that we're gonna start losing people.
All right,
Why don't you
what,
keep
all
going?
that video about is how to walk up to a podium. That's all it's about.
How to walk up to a podium.
You know, we could share the link in the follow-up
Yep,
that I
yep,
email out.
Okay, okay,
Have a great. Thank you. Thank you.
yep. Trying to get to the next slide. Okay. Okay. So we've had a discussion and I just want to tell you it's my pleasure, my honor for the second time, and I love you guys coming back. So this is about it for tonight, but the lecture number 2 is going to be next week. And I'm going to send out a survey. I'm going to have it ready for you guys and we're going to rehearse. That's all we're going to do for the next week is each person's going to rehearse the things that they should say and see how it makes it sound smooth. And hopefully by that time you won't be scared anymore and we'll have a little bit of time to talk about everybody being scared to speak. I'll give you a couple clues on how not to be nervous about it.
Can we do like your own stories, or are you sending us like information about that?
Well, you're gonna have, first of all, you're gonna have on there, the first thing is gonna say, I am, and you can fill in your name. What you're gonna, it's questions, you're just gonna fill in your name. I am Joe Smith. I do this, and I'll give you hints like I help, I teach, I show, I'm with Special Olympics. It's strategic things you're saying right in the beginning, so they get your message and they don't walk away right away.
Right.
So I'll work on that tonight, probably Deb tomorrow. You guys can edit it and get it ready, and we'll have some fun next week. And
It's on the 20, our next one is on the 28th though.
Well, last
Our next meeting
day.
is on the
Next
Wow.
Monday.
Yeah, the last day. Yep, Monday.
And we're gonna record this. If we're not recording this one, we're gonna record that one so you guys can see what you look like. Yeah, I know. People don't want to know what they look like, but you have to.
Do
You
we
have
get to share this with our family or friends at all?
Sure. I don't have that's up to Deb, not me.
Yeah, I'll record it. I'll put it on YouTube. I'll send the link like I always do. We'll send the video that Thom has to share with us and send the file that he speaks about. We'll send it all out to you tomorrow. I want to thank Angie for setting this up and Thom for gracing us with his appearance and his wonderful presentation. Really dynamic, really a lot of great information there and a lot of great questions from you guys too. So thank you everybody for your time. Thank you, Thom. We will see you next Monday and you'll get an email from me within the next day or so with all this information.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I need-
Thom.
Tom.
And I need, bye folks, and write down the questions you want so I can talk to you. Angie, can you stay on for a second after?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah, no problem. Really
Bye.
great, thank you. Don't we have another one at 6? Deb, don't we have another one at 6?
Yep, next Monday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6
See you
o'clock.
all then. I'll send out a
I'll be
reminder in
there.
the Zoom link.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay,
Everyone.
thanks, Thom.